Court, how much did the offense grow last week? How much more room does it have to continue to grow?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, there's always room for improvement. You guys hear me say that all the time. It was nice to be able to go out and, as the motto has been said multiple times, start fast. It was nice to be able to go out there and pick points up early, and then consistently be able to pick points up. It was good to be able to see that. We know what we're capable of. It's just executing it and doing it consistently.
Court, you guys had your big Halloween party. How big is it to be able to get together, not at the games with the family, but like to go out and just in the middle of the season, a tough season? I mean, hard fought every game to just let loose.
Yeah, I think anytime you get a chance to fellowship, we'll call it fellowshipping. Anytime you get a chance to fellowship with your teammates away from the building, it allows you to be able to get to know each other in a more intimate, personal setting. I think a lot of guys when we're here, we do have times where you aren't always on, but when we come here, it's like you coming into work. You check in, you go to work, meetings, practice. You're here to be able to do your job at the highest level and figure out ways to get better at doing your job at the high level. Like I said, you do have opportunities to be able to, laugh and enjoy each other's company, but to be able to be away from the facility, away from football, watch guys, let their hair down just a little bit and just enjoy each other's company, get to be around each other's, families. I think all those opportunities are amazing, and it was a good time to be able to hang out with the boys away from work.
What was it like to be on the field with the guys that was 20th year?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of conversations were being had on the field. We got a lot of young guys on the team, as you guys know. Some guys were very, very, very young when he first got into the league, and I mean the amount of knowledge that he probably has. I've gotten to talk to him a little bit, but I can't wait to just pick his brain on just the stuff that he knows, the stuff that he's seen, the stuff that he's experienced. Man, I mean to be on in the league that long, he's seen any and every type of situation, any and every type of player come through the locker room. So to be able to pick his brain a little bit, it's going to be a lot of fun. But happy to have him here. Great dude, man. You don't play 19 years and have the respect around the league unless you're doing something right. So I'm happy to have him on our team.
Or you go up against the secondary every day in training camp and in practice.
Yeah.
Without Pat, what have you noticed from Chris Abrams' strain if he's the one that has to step up in that sense?
Yeah, shoots. I mean, our defense is solid, as you guys know. To answer your question, our secondary, man, those guys battle their butts off. I think we have a really good group on offense and defense, but since we're talking about the defense, I think we have a really good group of young guys that are willing to learn from guys that are older than them and guys that have had success in this league. For them to be able to have Pat and to be able to have Riley, guys that have played a lot of snaps in this league, to be able to see them ask questions, to see them lean on them for advice, I think that's something that allows them to be able to go out there and play with some confidence, play with some swag. And, in this league, it takes is a couple plays to be able to go out there and get your swag. And, KD had the pick against the Chargers last year, and a lot of people were surprised. I wasn't surprised because the dude, one, is a unique talent. He's very gifted at what he does, but a lot of people don't know that he has great ball skills because he's a receiver. He can track the ball very, very well. So, being able to watch those guys go out there and step up, it's going to be a lot of fun to see them go out there and have the opportunities to be able to go and perform, because we know what they're capable of. It was just waiting for the opportunity. And I know Pat's, even though he's not on the field, he's going to be definitely in their ear, helping them in the meeting rooms and helping them in practice, understanding, the best ways to go out there and have success.
Or what's the mentality when you face a defense like Houston's that's number one in the league? Is it kind of a challenge for you guys? Excited to see how you stack up? What's the mentality going into this week?
Yeah, shoes. It's another week, another opportunity for us to go out and, perfect our craft. At the end of the day, it's us versus us. How can we maximize what we do well and eliminate the things that kind of hinder us from having that success. I think last week we did some things really well that allowed us to be able to have the success in terms of putting points on the board and having a lot of guys get into the end zone, a lot of guys be able to, have really good days. It's all about, recreating that, replicating that, and finding ways to be consistent at doing that week in and week out. The Texans have a great defense. Their coach is a guy that had a very respectable playing career, and then the things that he's done with that team and with that organization over the last 3 years has been really cool to watch. That defense plays really hard. They play really fast, and they got a lot of guys that love ball. And you can tell they play really hard for their coach. And so it's going to be on us to make sure that we're locked in for what's ahead of us and making sure that we prepare for ourselves, make sure that we are doing what we need to do to be as prepared as possible to go out there and play fast and play confident and execute.
Court, going back to Chris, Sean said he might have the best hands on the team. What do you react to or how do you react to that?
Yeah, shoes. I'm not going to argue with Coach. Coach knows best. It's like, your parents know best. I let Coach have that one. KD does have really, really good hands, though. Watching him catch the ball in practice, you could tell that there's some pass receiver in there. So I don't think it's all the way gone. It's, once it's there, it's usually mostly always there. So, yeah, Coach is always right.
Speaking of Coach, a couple months ago, he shared a story of how he didn't like something operationally in the wide receiver room.
Say it again? My fault.
A couple months ago, he shared a story about how he didn't like something operationally with the wide receivers, and he went to you to get it fixed. How much do you relish an opportunity to have the trust of your head coach and also just the ability to lead a wide receiver room?
Yeah, shoes. I think that there's a part of that falls on the seed that I've been, honored to be able to wear, and then to be the senior in the room right next to Trent. I appreciate Coach giving me the opportunity to be able to be a guy that he can lean on for getting things done in that room. We have a great coach in Coach Carey and Coach Zach Rossi that help us a lot, but to be able to talk to the guys from a player's perspective and to give guys, actual, feedback about, what may be happening on the field, something that I may have seen against, a certain defense or a certain player, whatever it may be. We can watch film on certain things as much as you want to, but when you have actual live bullet reps against certain people and certain defenses and certain schemes, it's nice to be able to share that with the young guys so that they can kind of have a head start on what to expect going forward. So, I appreciate and respect that Coach gives me that opportunity to be able to help, because we do have great leadership in terms of our coaches in our room, but to be able to give some, actual feedback is cool, that he trusts me to do that.
Sometimes when he yells at you, do you think he's yelling at everybody?
Yeah, it's like the older sibling. The older sibling gets it the most, and then the old saying, "Don't get mad at me." I don't know if there's a bleep in there, but they say that the rolls downhill. Y'all can pick, put the blank in there, but it definitely rolls downhill. I heard that a lot in college, and I've seen it be a thing as I went throughout my career. It's one of those things that something wants to happen, and the head coach is going to pass it down, and it just keeps on tumbling. So. Trying to find a way to, I'll be the wall that, kind of blocks it from the young guys so that, they don't get dirty, but passing the knowledge off as well at the same time.